Speeding off into the second third of the SportsMax Zone for this Wednesday, Jamaica's track and field success over the last 20 years has been due in large part to the emergence of clubs that have produced a plethora of world-class athletes. Stephen Francis's MVP Track Club, the home of Shelley and Fraser Price, and the Glen Mills-led Racers Track Club, the former home of Usain Bolt, have set the standard. Now on Wednesday, another entity, Legacy Athletics, joined the equation with its official launch. According to President and CEO Andrea Hardware, the club is a 360-degree athlete development company catering to the coaching, management and personal development of its athletes. The bodies received the support of the Jamaica Athletics Administrative Association and the Jamaica Olympic Association.
I can confidently speak for this association, and that my team and I will always be available to you. You spoke of other local clubs. The J3s also stand ready whenever you need our assistance.
As Garth will tell you, once we are in sport, and any initiative that goes towards the development of sport is for us family. So welcome to the family legacy, and I have no doubt that you will enrich the household.
JOA President Chris Samuda, and before that Garth Gale, President of the J38s. Now the assistant coach at Calabar High School will be the head coach for the Legacy Athletics Club. He joins us along with the athlete du jour, Russell. Omar Hawes, welcome to the SportsMax Zone in du jour. You've been on the zone as well before. Great to have you both. Let me start here. What triggered this move to establish this group that will now guide a lot of the young, bright track and field stars in the country? Omar.
Thanks for having us. It's a pleasure to be here in this inaugural interview, so to speak. And as you asked just now, the real reason behind us coming together to start something like this and to actually bring it into fruition, it has been years in coming in terms of our planning, the fact that we all love and adore track and field to a point where we have athletes who have run pretty well at the junior level, and most of them, we contacted them, some contacted us in the time that we started to think about after the lull that Jamaica would have gone through recently. We have athletes who we think at the junior level who did well can be transitioned into the senior ranks, and as such, the team at Calabar, as you know, I'm still a part of the coaching staff there, came together. We painstakingly planned how to make this transition a reality, and here we are today after a few months of preparation, talking to athletes, talking to parents, talking to a few stakeholders, and it is now a reality.
Yeah. How badly do you think this was a necessary move? Because as we established a couple of minutes ago with the Racers Track Club and the MVP and the GC Foster College Group over there in St. Catherine, there are coaching groups, coaching setups that have been for a decade now preparing a lot of our athletes. Do you think there is room for another such, and how much do you think this will benefit the overall program in the country?
Well, definitely, there's a lot of room. Over the years, you have found that a lot of very good athletes have fallen through the cracks, have gone on to just give up track and field because of how the system is structured. For the most part, over a couple of years that has passed, we have done well locally, yeah, and overseas we have had one and two athletes who would have made a senior team over the years, but generally we have persons locally making that cut. As we would have spoken about earlier, in terms of the love and the general work that we put in for athletes who leave us at the high school level, go across, or sometimes they just move on to other stuff. And we think it is time that we try to assist those who would really want to be a part of, say, a Racers, an MVP, a Sprintec, and the other clubs who are trying in Jamaica. So we put together, as my president spoke earlier about the 360 degree, where we include schooling as one of the main focus. And then we take on the fact that we have managers and we have agent representation and branding to go with the coaching. So that was basically why we think we can rescue some of the athletes who, for the most part, don't make it even with the talent that they have, to the next level.
Yeah. All right, Dijor, you have been one by far of the most impressive sprint hurdlers to come out of the junior program in the past few years. You have now left the juniors. How do you feel about this development as a strong Calabar man, and what this program will offer to young athletes?
I feel, all right, first off, thanks for having me. It's a pleasure to be here again. And I would say it's a very good program because, as I said, as Coach Hall said, it's a very all-rounded program. It goes in depths of even an athlete personal life, of social media managing, goes from your nutrition, your hydration. So I would say it's a very unique club. It's not a club where you just fall in place and you run a program. It's more of a family, and it's a family-oriented club, and that's what I love about it.
Yeah, if you stress the family-oriented nature of this legacy club, but if you were to try to recruit some people here, what are the 3 main points you would press to them in terms of highlighting the difference between what Legacy offers relative to the other track clubs that exist?
As I make it clear a while ago, I don't know if I never been to another track club. It's very family oriented, as I said before. That's what makes it different. There are coaches that's there to listen to you, and nowadays you have coaches they're very pressing and they don't listen to athletes. And I think Legacy offers that. Legacy offers, coaches just that's understanding. They are coming with a different program. They are more advanced, I would say. And that's it, to be honest.
Yeah, you stress the issue of the coaches listening to the athletes. I'm sure you have heard some stories from your colleague athletes. So are coaches really so pig-headed that they know everything and they don't want to hear any input from the athlete they're training? It's their way or the highway? Is that what you're saying happens at some other clubs?
It's sad to say, but it does happen. And I would never pinpoint anybody, but it's what I hear. And athletes, they have no reasons to lie on coaches or, so I would say, I hear it. I never experienced it before.
Yes.
But it happens. And I have athlete friends. This is my sport. This is my passion. And I've been in it for a long time. And I hear a lot of things.
Yeah. Coach, when you look at what is offered at the other track clubs, Lance mentioned MVP and Racers, which represents the gold standard of track clubs, not just in Jamaica, but in this part of the world and perhaps worldwide. We can put them down as gold standard given the talent that they've produced. And when you and your collaborators were seeking to put Legacy together, what it is that you took from the successful track clubs to incorporate into what it is that you're rolling out now?
Well, to be honest, one, Stephen Francis is somebody that I admire his approach to coaching. And at times he's a little bit controversial, generally, but that's his personality. And we have to accept him for that person. But as a coach, he's somebody that sees the talent early and brings them to fruition. And that's part of what we would have learned from the mentor at Calabar, Mr. Michael Clark.
Yes.
So the team of coaches are basically in that sort of setup. We would have gone to GC Foster to do the certification, which kind of cemented what we learned from Mr. Clark at the early stage. And going forward, we decided to look at clubs overseas as well. Spoke to a lot of coaches, and we incorporate all the things that we found to be a plus and modified them generally to make it our own, so to speak.
You weren't setting this up in the dark. There were many good examples to follow. So the obvious question then, Omar, is, if you mentioned Stephen Francis, you are assistant head coach at Calabar. We know there's a strong Calabar connection with Legacy. Mm-hmm. So the obvious question is, why is the granddaddy, Michael Clark, not a part of Legacy?
Well, to be quite frank, Mr. Clark would have took a year off from his, because he had a club called, he has a club, Akon Track Club. He took a year off to sort out personal stuff. And in that period of time, we would have started our own. He's still basically doing his thing.
Yeah.
So this is Legacy, we are Legacy, and he's Akon, but we are still at Calabar as a team,
Yes.
a Calabar family.
Excellent. In terms of your day-to-day training, do you train, is your day-to-day training managed by Legacy, or do you do that somewhere else and Legacy handles your management and your bookings? How does it work?
Definitely. Legacy manage my marketing side. I do train Fitz Coleman by Huey.
Okay, so that's the arrangement. Fitz Coleman is the man who gives you the instructions on the track, and Legacy handles the other matters.
Definitely.
Good. So Omar, lastly, before you go, if it is that there's an athlete with a coach somewhere in the island who believes that the coach is doing well by them, but the coach has certain limitations in terms of getting them into meets and negotiating their fee and so forth, do you offer that service only to the athlete, or does it have to be all-encompassing?
To be quite frank, we have a 360 that you spoke about. It also includes external athletes, external persons who are in sports general, not necessarily athletics. So we do management, we do agent representation, and we do coaching. So if you have your coach that is doing well, not a problem. It's about getting the athlete to do their best. So generally we speak about how best can we assist this athlete on the outside to realize their dreams from a management point of view, branding, and agent representation, if that's what they want. So we offer that services as well.
And just to nail down the point, it's not that an athlete with their coach comes to you and asks for other services. You try to get them to come on board fully. You will do what they've asked you to do to the best of your ability.
Definitely. It's about getting athletes to realize their dreams and their personal development.
Excellent. And I had to make that clear just in case people thought that the arrangement was just for De Jour Russell only. No. It's 360. So any aspect of the athletics that you want taken care of, Legacy is in position to deal with.
And to make the point quickly, Jordan, before we wrap this segment, for overseas viewers who may not be aware that Calabar is an all-boys school, this is a Calabar set up primarily or triggered, but there are several female athletes in the program at the moment, including Jura Levy, Renisha McGregor, Crystal Morrison, and others, Omar.
Yes, definitely. We also have Michael Bentley who went to San Diego. So
yeah, so it's not totally a Calabar thing, is it?
Definitely about athletes.
Yes,
in general.
Athletes.
Yeah. Go to break. Back with more on the SportsMax Zone after this. Yeah.
Thanks for having me. Yeah.